everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. And for today's video, I am joined by a new special guest. Welcome, Slate.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Yeah, you've been mentioned by a few people lately, so I had to check you out, and it was your video that helped me. Oh wait, I never finished. Mostly get through the Dungeon Crusade stuff, or whatever the hell that was called. The Demon Soldiers, Demon Crusade.
Demonic
Whatever.
Crusade. Yeah, Demonic
Crusade.
Yeah.
There's a name there somewhere.
Don't worry.
It all blends together. I don't know. Yeah. That was pretty hard. Like, do you like Guild versus Guild? Is that like a thing that you particularly like? Is that your thing?
Yeah, so I'm in the Shire, which is quite a competitive GVG guild, and it's I would say it's my favorite piece of content. So I was like, you know what, let's do that. And then I love the fact they're bringing in other like content modes with the Demon Soldiers.
It's cool,
so that you've got it's really good. So yeah, as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, I've got to play with these. So it was good fun.
Nice. All right, well, so today I wanted to do kind of a first look, first impressions type video like I did for some of the other new heroes for ARES here, because I mean, he looks really interesting. I haven't heard much about him. I feel like when I saw the banner was coming, no one was mentioning him as if he's bad, but then I see a thumbnail with someone be like, oh, he hits, was it Fastidious or Destined? Someone had a video that was like, hits harder than Arrogance. I did not watch the video. Oh, it was JNGO. Oh, yeah, you're right. That's who it was. And I was like, oh, is he actually really good? Because I don't know anything about this character. I'm going in with a genuine blind first impression of him. So I'm going to be, I've not looked up anything. I don't know anything about him. What's your knowledge? What do you know about this guy? What have you done?
Yeah, so I mean, as soon as he popped up, I was like, I had a look of his kit, and I did see the video that J&Geo put out, because there are some really interesting things in his kit. But I'm very excited to talk through it, because I think it's, we'll see what the impression is, but it was good to sort of, there are a couple of things that I'm like, this could be interesting. So,
so I'll link that video in this description as well as a reference for people that want to see him in action then, and I'll have to go watch that myself. But you don't have a test server, you said, so you haven't played yourself, right?
No, I mean, no, it's, I'd love to, but no, I've literally just read his kit, read his kit, and seen that one damage stat, but it was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. I think that confirms my suspicions.
Okay, so I don't even know what you're talking about, so I guess I gotta find out. Like, what do you do? What do you even mean? I don't know. I guess we'll find. I'm guessing it's quirky, and I'll be like, wait, what? Okay. All right, so you're gonna be the one that knows a little bit more than me, so you'll have a little bit of a more experienced impression to give. So let's just see what happens here. All right. The blurb. A ferocious minotaur on a mission to liberate his people. As a warrior, he uses his great axe to cause massive AoE damage. So he's a fighter, normal damage, defense breaker, and has a debuff. Alright. So I would see this and think he'd be with that axe and stuff, and think like a berserker, like a barbarian or something in his kit. I don't know. We'll see if that comes to play.
I think his skin is really cool.
That's true. I have to start with the visuals. I'm dumb. I didn't look at the visuals yet. All right, let's take a spin. Okay. Can we zoom in? Oh, we can't zoom in on the PC client, can we? Can we zoom?
Oh, no, we can't. No.
On the mobile version, like on BlueStacks, I can normally zoom in. Someone's like, how do you zoom in? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, the axe is crazy.
The little face on it and everything, and he's got those extra tusks coming out of his shoulder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They knock it out the park.
Weird.
With the visuals.
His tusks. Oh yeah, his tusks are coming. Oh, it's like his armor. Okay, his armor plates are tusks as well. Yeah. Got it. And then he is, of course, he is a minotaur himself. Okay. Yeah, definitely fun visuals. I like it. No video though, of course. Like they all need videos, but maybe someday, maybe we'll see.
I really wish they would. Like, that's the best part.
So I like seeing it. His range has one extra spot at least. That's always helpful, so you can place like a defender in front of him or something as well. Or Nightmare. Okay, Nightmare comp, couple people. Maybe some of those Nightmare GVG comps. I guess we'll see there. Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, it's really good he's got that extra tile, because then it's like an Estrid or a Uridan, and it means he can definitely be behind a tank, which is very, very cool, I think.
His base attack is solid 6,200.
I don't know where that sits though.
I mean, it seems to be pretty normal. Like actually, to be fair, I shouldn't even say that. Like I was looking at all the different fighters and they're all over the place. So I guess being that he's AoE damage and 6,000 seems pretty solid. But I think some of them were low and some of them were really high. Like Ardea is of course a beast. She has crazy base attack. But that seems pretty solid.
Ardea is amazing.
Rage Regen Auto 13 seems pretty standard, and 2.6 for attack interval, pretty standard as well. Block 2, okay, yep, and cost 17. Okay, 17. Not bad.
Not great.
Not bad.
But not bad.
Not extremely expensive, but also not a quick, easy place. So let's see if he's worth it. All right, the talent applies basic attack, applies a defense reduction. I love to see that in kits. It helps the whole team do more damage. It's minus 20%.
So it's not a bad debuff, especially for 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that was the duration was 3 seconds. Yep, there we go. 20% for 3 seconds. Okay, and then physical attack, the basic, deals 100% magic damage to one enemy. Simple enough. And our ultimate increases damage by 50%. Dealing damage has a 30% chance to inflict vulnerability physical damage on the target. This is a 4-second 30%. Okay. So it looks cool. I like the visual.
Yeah, and that goes up to a 40% chance, which is
yes,
pretty decent actually. And then it also, I think it will stack with that defense reduction because they're 2 different debuffs. So vulnerability. Yeah. So actually, by the time, if he's hitting the same target, it'll already have defense reduction, and then he'll be applying this vulnerability. And so I think he's just going to smack him.
Yeah, and the good thing is it makes him an enabler as well. Whether or not he himself does good damage, he's a good enabler for the team, giving defense reduction and vulnerability for others. So that's really good to see. I like that. I like when they can enable the whole team to do more damage.
Oh, massively. Yeah.
And then we've got a passive here. There is a 25% chance of dealing 150% damage with a basic attack. Targets inflicted with vulnerability physical damage by the hero himself take double the damage. During the ultimate, the chance is increased to 35%. We got a whole bunch of damage bonuses there. Okay. So
it's pretty cool.
Double damage. Yeah. It sounds solid. Wait, why is he...
I think
it says AoE damage, though. It's so confused.
That's the one thing that doesn't make sense to me. Why in the bio it says AoE, and yet it's all single target in the skills? Except
this is AoE.
Yes.
It doesn't make... Okay, so, alright. When deployed, immediately attacks up to 5 enemies in the front, dealing 200% damage and inflicting stun and vulnerability. Oh, so he starts off with it, and then his ultimate comes back and puts it up again. That's cool.
But only to one enemy. So...
That's true.
This is the weird part of his kit that I'm really interested in, because there's no piece of content in the game yet where you would want to drop a hero onto a massive mobs and stun them.
And then, okay. And then, like... That's true, immediately when he's deployed. So that's not going to help in GVG, because he's already going to be deployed.
And if you think about some like other things like AMR, where you use fighters, again, that's not an immediate drop on...
No, it would be like you would use him to put him up. You could put him on the side as one of the later drops, maybe, but you wouldn't need to if you have a good account right now. You could just solo it with Silas. I mean,
exactly. But
who needs to place multiple heroes?
Yeah. And it's a weird mechanic, particularly the stun, because it sounds like you know how like Cyrus is a bomb and you expect him to die and then he does massive AoE damage. The way his kit reads, and maybe we'll come back to it after the Awakenings, because it gets even weirder in the Awakenings.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. So, is Moonton just being the normal thing of releasing a hero before the content's out for it?
It's either that, or it's just a weird thing that will never get used.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe the fact of, I guess, AMR, there has been talk of stages being added to it, so more stages of AMR, more difficulty. So he could have strong value there if you think of, like, sticking him on one of the ends, or where he can, you know, protect the main guy in the middle or something, like the traditional setup of that. That could be valuable if you plop them in at the right time. But if you get to the point where you need to stun a bunch of mobs, it's going wrong. That's probably a little too late. So, yeah, I don't know. You're right. That's really strange. All right, let's get into the Awakenings. You said they're weird. Okay. So, first one, during the ultimate, increases attack speed by 100. Not the most exciting because
Pretty standard for a nightmare.
Yeah, and you're gonna have lots of attack speed built into your kit anyway. That's what we said, like, it's not... I think with Jake, when we were talking about Micah, I think she had the same one. And it's like, well, that's not exciting because you're going to build well with your attack speed, just naturally by the gear you choose to save. Awaken 2, attack percent plus... Or attack plus 5%. Not that exciting, but
I mean,
okay.
I find that interesting because usually they do plus... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Usually the attack is like plus 300 attack or plus... it's usually a set amount.
Sometimes it's both. I've seen both a lot when I've been doing these, yeah.
But it's good that this one's... I prefer it when it's a percentage, so...
Yeah, at least it kind of, feels a little bit better. Although, I guess this is about the same as plus 300. Because it's, you know, he's got like 6,000 base attack, 6,200. So pretty close.
Yeah.
Awaken 3, though, let's see here. During the effect of the ultimate, ignores 20% of the target's defense. Okay, nice. I like ignore defense, for sure.
So that will be ignore 20% defense with a 20% defense reduction and a vulnerability to physical damage. Like,
that's a lot. Yeah.
3
debuffs, so to speak. Pretty much. So that definitely is making him sound like he's gonna do pretty solid damage for sure. Where I would start to read his kit and sound like, oh, he's more like an enabler, because like you see, oh, he's applying this debuff. Okay, he's applying this debuff too. He's helping the team. But sounds solid so far. Crit rate plus 8% on Awaken 4 and Awaken 5. Oh, here we go. Whirlwind. It is a barbarian. Berserker. Let's go. Diablo references. Alright. Whirlwind cut can be triggered on death. So, that's the name of the... Okay. That's... Oh.
This is the weird bit I was talking about. Yeah.
So the when deployed stun AoE stuff when he dies.
But I wonder if it's the same as, like, you know how Laurel, when she dies, which is even if you just
pull
pick her up.
If you pick him up, does that work as well? Oh.
So then effectively, if you drop and pop him effectively, so drop him, pick him back up, does that mean he could effectively stun 10 enemies? Or do you pick him back up again once the stun's ended, and then you've got effectively a 6 second... Because how long is that stun? I can't remember.
Let's see, I think it was 3 second, yeah.
So then you could have a 6 second stun if it's the same 5 enemies, which is a lot of time.
See, upon death with a stun is good for GVG at least, but not upon deployment. Yeah. So at least this brings some value to that content. But not, I mean, Awaken 5, that'll be a little while, but for most people. But still,
Yeah, that's a bit much.
That's a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna pull that much on the banner. I like it, but you know. Oh dear. Yeah, this is interesting. I think there's probably more uses and excitement for the idea of the Awakened 5 than just the fact of when deployed. Yeah, because like when does that matter? When are we really going to use that? But this definitely could see having value. If shit's hitting the fan, and then he dies, at least he's helping to control it for a second.
Yeah, and it is literally that. It's like what's going on here, but I just don't know really what content yet this is built for.
Okay, so, and don't tell me the result because I could make people watch the video. But in Jay and Gio's video, do they test this? Is that or no?
No, they don't. No, they just did straight up. How hard can he hit damage numbers on the guild boss? So
okay. Well, that's true. He has nightmares, and that's a lot of debuffs to help your guild boss team. Oh yeah, that's really good for guild boss. So yeah, where do we think he's going to be good now regarding disregarding the weird passive? Where do you think he's going to shine?
I think with the new guild boss 2, he has some potential because the guild boss 2 is really using a lot of nightmare units, and particularly if you don't pick up a Lucius who because obviously in that Aegis, I always get it wrong, Aegis or Aegis stage, the boss gets physical damage like reduction, and so if you don't have a Lucius, then ARES 2 debuffs might be able to counteract those buffs that the boss gets.
That's true. We got our buff Dispeller with Lucius, yeah. But it's such a low chance to dispel the buff. Is it really going to happen that often? I don't know. That's the question. That's what I haven't seen.
So I think someone like this guy, you know, I think the way his kit reads, you know, he's got quite a high chance to keep these debuffs up, especially if you build him fast.
Yeah.
And it to me, he reads more as a hero that is designed for long form fights than like short fights. Where
normal guild boss as well, for sure, with the standard nightmare team.
I think so as well. Yeah. Possibly arena single target.
Yeah. Maybe.
But yeah, I would say AMR is always good for fighters. I think he's going to be decent for progression because he can go behind a tank. So if you're early on in the game, always having a fighter can...
That's huge. I remember just using Ain because of that for a little while. If getting this guy early as one of your main fighters to build, he would be solid in everywhere you need a fighter for campaign progression, for everything. I think would be pretty good, right? I think so.
I mean, I don't know yet whether he'll be like one of the best fighters ever, but I think when it was the banner, everyone was like, oh, who is this guy? I don't think he's going to be any good. And I think actually he's got potential.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. I like that. I'm a big fan of when people bring debuffs that help the whole team do more damage. So that's in any game I play, that's another one. I love damage over time, and I love like the kind of, he's almost like a supportive damage dealer with helping the whole team, like an offensive support. And I think that is a huge value alone. Whereas, like, let's say if he does, there was obviously they buffed Volca recently, but you know, like she brings debuffs. She was great to use, but she herself wasn't doing much damage. It's like having someone that can kind of bring the same thing, but actually be a great damage dealer as well. Strong value. I like him. I think I sound interested. I'd be happy if I pull him. I hope I do. We'll find out.
I think the only thing that would have made him better is if the bio was correct and it was AoE skills. Because if it was AoE skills with those debuffs, oh, it'd be incredible.
That is weird that it has that, and then it's only the quirky deploy and die.
Because otherwise that would be like a berserker warrior in my...
Yeah, for sure. Okay, they missed the mark there. It's fine. Give him a berserker axe and don't let him whirlwind all the time. Fine. Foul.
Not this time.
Nope. All right, well, I'm going to be reading his story, so we'll have to see if there's anything fun there. That'll be at the end of this video. But yeah, anything else you want to add or anything you want to plug for your channel?
Yeah, I guess I'm a relatively new channel. I've been doing this, it'll be 3 months at the end of this week. So, yeah, that's been really cool. It's
Nice.
a really great community, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it actually. Really, really enjoying it. So, but I do a lot of GVG content, so that I would say is what I probably am niched in.
That's a good thing, though, honestly. You can definitely, I think, excel by having a niche and be the guy for that kind of thing. Um, I think it's one of the, don't be discouraged if the views are lower because it's more niche content. Like you said, it is more niche. And
Yeah.
some people just don't care about GVG, and that's the sad or reality part. I'm unfortunately becoming one of those. I'm not going to lie. I have to admit that I'm losing interest in Guild versus Guild. It was cool idea at first, but now I'm like, I don't feel like it every week. Like, I'm like, I don't want to try to redo stuff. I just want to hit auto and walk away sometimes. So I'm actually going down in guilds or so I can relax a little bit. I don't know. It's just not for me. I thought I'd liked it at first, but I'm not feeling it. It's not for everybody. It's just the reality, I guess.
I think that's the one thing I do like about the way that they've done it is they've sort of split the guild boss. So you're not losing out on rewards if your guild is not doing GVG. Whereas, you know, in other games that I've played, you either have a highly competitive guild in all areas or you kind of miss out on those best rewards.
It was hard. Like I remember in Raid, I would like if you were a guild that pushed in clan versus clan, you also were a guild that pushed in Hydra, which not everyone cared about Hydra, so that was hard. People would be annoyed, like, oh, I don't care about Hydra, but I want to do this. It was hard to find both. I remember that being a big problem of like trying to make everybody happy by, I don't know, having a balance of what your clan or guild focus is. I'm in a guild now that does focus it, but I think I'm losing interest in the GVG. I don't know. Maybe the new content or new maps and stuff could spice it up, but or maybe I'm just finding it's not for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the thing is it really depends on how active your guild is. Like, if it's one of those what I'd call community things. So if your guild's really active and you guys just get together and you guys chat, it's really fun. But if it's just you, I think if it's effectively just you doing it, I can understand why it's incredibly dull because it's like, well, I have to figure out how to do this and I, you know, don't do it. But if it's all of you like getting together on voice call and having a giggle, it's a lot of fun. So yeah,
I'm in the Celestials cluster, which we're very active, but I think it might also be the reality of me and my life changes, you know, becoming a mom, being busier. I don't have the time to dedicate or like to the interaction of an active guild like I used to, or that used to be fun for me, like caring about, I was in the guild chat all day long, you know, always chatting to people, always being interactive, but now I don't have time for that. So maybe that for me, that kind of a thing is just becoming less of a focus, and that's why I don't want to bother. Reason. Yeah, it's true. It's a good reason.
It's a good reason.
It is a good reason.
You've got this lovely baby, and it's like, well, of course I don't have time. It's, you know, it's. I'm just really glad it doesn't affect the other things that a guild does. I love the fact that it's almost its own content.
It's true.
So
cool.
But I do other guides as well because I think the main thing I wanted to do for my channel was just guides for as many different things as possible.
That's good. That's good. No, I like it. You have great content so far, so I would definitely, obviously, if you're not following Slate already, go follow her now. We were nominating people for some fun content creator categories, and you definitely get the voice category. Who doesn't love a lady with a nice British accent? And yours is lovely. Some people are a little bit more harsh. Yours is lovely. I can't compete with that.
On my last live stream, because it was so janky with the tech, I ended up doing what you're about to do, which is like read the story.
Oh, funny.
It's like, this is very enjoyable. And I was like, well, good.
That's so true. I should be like, you read the story instead of me this time. No, just kidding. It's fine. But yeah, I always got comments about my voice being soothing because it depends on when I'm talking softer or really hyper, of course our voice changes a lot. But yeah, I'm like, okay, I can't compete with Slate. She wins that category.
But you've got a very soothing voice as well. So it's, very gentle and yeah, but I do know, I think it's the British accent that
It is.
some people
Americans
like,
love
just
an
instantly.
accent. Yeah. All right, well, yeah, lots of summons to come. I hope we get all the fun new heroes to play with, especially Lucius and maybe ARES as well. Why not? I mean, he seems fun too, but I think the prize of this banner is Lucius. He's pretty bonkers.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I heard that there's like a fancy Watcher Lord coming in the leaks that they know of that is apparently pretty busted, so he's only gonna get better, and that I'm really excited for as well, so.
I'm so glad that the Watchguard are finally getting some good.
That's what I've heard. I think Destined or someone was talking about it the other day, that there's something big coming with that, so I'm excited. But all right, I'm going to now roll into the lore for ARES, our lovely Minotaur here. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go sub to Slate. And Slate, thanks for joining.
Thank you so much.
Like most beast races in Taya, Minotaurs have long been exploited for their physical prowess. It's said that each Minotaur contains the strength of at least 20 men, which begs the question of how could they ever be captured or exploited. The answer lies in their sense of duty toward family. Slavers long ago realized Minotaurs would relinquish all defiance if the lives of their kin were put in danger. As such, it was common practice to steal and cage the most vulnerable among them, the calves. A widower, ARES, the Longhorn Impaler's life was changed forever when his child was stolen. Well respected among his herd for his prowess and protective instincts, ARES' main joy in life derived from looking after his only calf. Life was simple and clean, but while patrolling his herd's territory, ARES heard a squeal that all but froze his blood, spurring him home to discover his only son in a cage. Slavers. He gored 4 before a blade was put against the helpless calf's throat, ending the bloodshed. The slavers' terms were as follows. ARES and his son were to be transported to a mine in exchange for the calf's well-being. ARES would toil until his very back broke. He was left with little choice. For years, ARES slaved away in the mines alongside the Minotaurs, those whose loved ones were being held as collateral. They were allowed to see their families once a month, though through a thick set of bars of a large holding cell. Life drifted miserably like this until one day, ARES' son was nowhere to be found. Learning that the young calf had matured enough to be sold himself, the great bull flew into paternal rage, lowering his jagged horns and tearing through the slaves with abandon. After freeing as many Minotaurs as possible, debates for future plans of action resounded. After much deliberation, one among them raised a name whispered with both fear and reverence throughout Taya by all of their kind, Toreador, the Undying Bull. Tales of his brutality against humanoid species spread far and wide. At this, ARES knew at once he must recruit Toreador's help to end the suffering of their kind and reclaim his son. With a small but capable band, the Minotaurs set off to find the Undying Bull.